This guide is going to be a really quick guide to the Steam Age in Gregtech Community Edition. I'm filming on 1.20/21, but however, this should be fine for all versions of Gregtech Community Edition. It's a very quick guide. If you want my full guide on it, there's a link in the description, which is 3 times as long, which takes you through the Steam Age in a lot more detail. But for those of you that wanted it and maybe more familiar with modding, I wanted to make a quick guide as Gregtech is so big. The first thing you're going to want to do in Gregtech is make some tools. I would use iron for your tools, but they can be made out of any material. Iron, hammer, wrench, a rubber soft mallet you'll be making later on but cannot make yet, a iron screwdriver as well, an iron file, F-I-L-E, and a saw, as well as an iron wire cutter. Not wrought as I've got here, just normal iron. So the first thing you're going to want to do in the Steam Age is start making steam. I would recommend making a wooden barrel or a bronze drum. You are going to need to make bronze using copper and tin together as ingots in your crafting table to make bronze, and that's how we're making our first fluid pipes. You can put water however you like into the bronze drum. I'm using this pump system, but you can't make that quite yet. Go onto the bottom of the drum and right click it, and it will say will drain fluid downward, and then you can just place the fluid pipes and it will flow out with your water. If it doesn't work, just replace the pipe. Then you push that into a low pressure steam liquid boiler or solid boiler, where you basically just put in water and it turns into steam. So I put the water in, and then I'm going to put coal in, and the coal will burn up. As you can see, it's heating up the steam boiler, and once it gets to a certain temperature, it will start turning this water into steam. Don't put the water in after it's heated up, as the machine will explode. Make sure there's a constant supply of water coming in before it starts heating up. There's a fluid one where you can put lava in, and then there's a solar one where you can obviously use the power of the sun to heat it up instead. Just make sure you put another pipe on a different side of these machines to output the steam, and it will output automatically. You can then push this into your steam machines. I've got a forge hammer here. I've got a steam furnace here. I've got this rock crusher where you can put in any item in here and it will start duplicating them by putting lava on one side and water on the other. One thing to note is that these machines will get clogged up if you do not vent the steam. As you can see here, I'm right-clicking it with my wrench and putting the steam vent on the top. If you put your pipe on the back, which is where the steam vent is default located, it will get clogged up and won't be able to. For example, if I break this fluid pipe, place the steam vent on the back, and then I place the fluid pipe. And by the way, when you place them, you can see if I place it here, it'll attach it to the middle. If I place it here, it will attach it to the right of it. If I place it like here, it will not attach to anything. And I can use the wrench on this bit to connect it to there. And again, to disconnect it. That's how pipes work. So if I put this on with the vent there, what you'll see is that it says at the top of the screen, blocked. And you need to vent out the steam. So I'm right-clicking at the wrench to move the steam vent to the top. And that'll be the same with all of these machines. You've got the steam macerator, the compressor, the alloy smelter, and the extractor. All of these are the basic machines that you'll be needing to make the ingredients for the next steps. Again, if you need a much more in-depth tutorial for this, then check out my main guide. This is a quick guide to get you going a lot faster if you're kind of a modded Minecraft mogul. The next thing you want is a blast furnace. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 with fire bricks, and then a primitive blast furnace in the middle like this. Do leave the entirety of the interior empty. So the only bit that has the middle bit is the floor. Right, click on it. You put in coal at the bottom, which is the actual fuel, and then you're basically making steel. So you're putting coal in again in the middle slot as an ingredient, and then you're putting in iron ingots at the top, and it will start turning it into steel for you. Another item is the coke oven. In here, you put in coal, it turns into coke and creosote. Yes, you can just bucket it out by getting a bucket and left-clicking here. Creosote is then used to make treated wood planks and things like that, just like in Immersive Engineering if you've played that. So with this one, you do leave it all covered up on the top, but the middle block inside, as you can see here, is filled. So you just put in the floor and the ceiling. And to input and output from it, you can also make a coke oven hatch. Once you've got your creosote, you can start making these treated wood frames, etc., and making a primitive pump and then pump decks. And the way it works is that you only need to put the water next to the primitive pump. And as you can see here, it's one pump item, and then it's 4 by 3 with the pump decks, obviously leaving out with the primitive pump. And then in here, you put a pump hatch, and it will automatically push out into pipes the water. So, and then you just have this frame going over of treated wood frames. This is basically an infinite water source from Gregtech. Then what you're going to need is rubber. So you can make rubber trees, well, find them. They're in taiga biomes. When you break these trees with an axe, you will get some sticky resin, or you can smelt up slime balls. Why do we need rubber? Well, overall, we want to be making basic electronic circuits. These need resistors, vacuum tubes, resin-printed circuit boards. Just follow it back through JEI. This is why we need the sticky resin, which is obviously from slime balls or getting them from these rubber trees. Wood planks are made in compressors. As you can see on the left here, we have the low-pressure steam compressors. Once you have got your steel, you can upgrade them to high-pressure variants of these machines. When we move on to low voltage, we obviously then go onto the basic ones at low voltage and a medium voltage, etc., etc. So the wood pulp, etc., you make into the wood planks. The vacuum tubes, you need steel bolts, etc., which is why I said you need saws and files and stuff like that. Glass tubes. So one thing I haven't mentioned is that in the alloy smelter, you will need glass dust with a casting mold of a ball. Casting molds, basically, if you look here, casting mold with different tools in different variants in the crafting grid will make different molds. It's really, really very simple. And obviously you make the one for balls so that you can make your glass dust into that. To make glass dust, you can just hammer it with your hammer that you would have made of iron, very simply. The other one is your red alloy cable. Red alloy wire is used with your wire cutters. Again, make them iron. With a red alloy plate, which is hammering to ingots, same as all of them. Red alloy is basically, it's copper and redstone in an alloy smelter. Yes, 4 redstone and 1 copper. You can use copper ingots, and that will make you your red alloy ingots so that you can make your red alloy wire. And apart from that, you need rubber sheets, which again you use a casting mold of a plate in an alloy smelter with 2 rubber ingots. Rubber ingots made from raw rubber pulp, which you get from the steam extractor with your resin, and then the sulfur dust you find in ores underground. So let's just go over very quickly, because I have forgotten, how ores work and ore veins work in Gregtech. So this here is the Gregtech vein. What you'll see is, wow-wee, so much ores. That's right. The way that the veins actually work is very different to normal Minecraft. Press F3, hold it down, and press G for the Godfather on... Sorry, I had a story TikTok about the Godfather, so I had to say that. Yeah, F3 and G, hold down F3, then press G, and it will show the chunk borders, as you can see here. So let's just whiz out of here in this vein. And the reason I'm telling you this is because what you want to do is go to the middle of a chunk and dig down to find the Gregtech ore vein. As you can see, I'm in the chunk. And then the way that it works is that every third chunk, or every 3 chunks, you will get a Gregtech ore vein. So we had a redstone one in there, and then 1, 2... and 3, and we've got our next ore vein down here, and this one has rock salt and spodumene ore. There are ways to actually, find it, etc., but we can't really do it at this stage in the game in the Steam Age. But that is how you basically find them. If you're playing Gregtech New Horizons, there's different ways of doing it, but in Gregtech Modern, Community Edition, etc., this is just how you find your ore veins. And just keep going, basically, until you find the ones you want. At this point, you should have everything you need to know. Oh, my screen's frozen. Please hold. To make the basic electronic circuit. If this video is too quick for you, or this part of the video, depending on how you're watching it, then watch the full guide, and I will link it in the description, which is about, for the Steam Age section, about 35 minutes long. It goes in a lot more depth for you, so that you can learn everything. But I would make this quick kind of versions, so that those that would want just a quick fix on what they should be making, etc., through Gregtech, which is a very complex and long mod, can have it as well. So do comment down below if you have found this quicker version useful.